What's up, guys? The red light is on. Here we go. Another one. Dave Van Auken here, the Dave Van Auken Show with Fight Bananas. Cannot wait. Very excited to talk to our guest today. Over 45 professional fights. Just definitely at least one of my personal favorites as well. Little peel behind the curtain. We were talking a little bit back and forth on Instagram, and stuff happens in fights, and I miss things, and fighters miss things. And he's like, "Hey, can I come back on the show, or can we make this happen?" I'm like, "Brother, I will redo the Rocky IV, the Drago. I will run on the snow mountain. I will do whatever it takes to get my guy back on the show." I'm talking about the one and only GM3, Gerald Meerschaert. How you doing, brother?
I'm great, David. How have you been?
Good, man. Busy. It's busy. It's been great. It's been during all this time, especially combat sports in the UFC. We haven't stopped. It's just been rolling, churning content. So life's good, man.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of fights going on still. PFL's going on. Bellator's putting on a lot of shows. A lot of fight night cards. So yeah, I gotta imagine business has been good for you.
Yeah, not bad. We ain't complaining at all, man. We ain't complaining. We appreciate everything you do, all the fighters do. There's no us without you guys. So first of all, appreciate you as hell. Okay, let's kind of get into it right away. Permanent black marker, GM3 is in the record books, middleweights across, forever. It's just, you just rear naked choke people. You just stop people. I love it. It's awesome. It's got to be a great feeling to all the work you've put in through all the years, all the names. There's like a middleweight's been a highlighted division in the UFC for a decade, 15 years plus. And your names are just like entwined with stoppages and submissions and all that. How's it feel just to be in the mix with, all timers?
It feels good. Honestly, I don't think about it too much because I feel like as a fighter, it is my job to go out there and make sure I finish fights. But
Sure.
when I do, take the proverbial time to smell the roses, it's nice to give yourself a pat on the back once in a while, and it's not bad company to be in at all.
Yeah, a great company. Like I said, I'm a big middleweight guy, with Whitaker and Izzy on top right now. And Anderson, what he did back in the day is just, some of the greatest fighters of all time. It's a great weight. It's you get heavier, it becomes, sometimes a little bit more knockout-ish. And then you get a little bit lighter. It gets more, just more technique and goes most of the time 15 or 25 minutes. That middleweight is a great weight. It's a lot of stoppages, great grappling skills, submission skills. It's just, to me, it's a perfect fight weight.
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of I feel like the middleweight division does get a little bit of flack because it's like either there's not enough knockouts or we're not technical enough. And I guess, if you looked at maybe pure technique, the lighter guys are going to be better. If you look at knockouts and knockout power, the bigger guys are going to be better. But, like you were saying, I feel like we got a good mix of both. I feel like, a lot of the guys are, former football players. They're super athletic.
Right.
And then the guys that aren't super athletic, like me, you got to be way more on the technical side. So you get a good balance.
Absolutely. I agree. I put out a video last year, and I think we talked about it the last time you were on about, I really liked, last year where I thought you were going to be towards the end of the year. Now you're on a 2-fight win streak, building momentum, building speed. You feel you like where you're at. Are you super excited to get into a next spot and try to break through that top 15, top 10 somewhere in there? Are you feeling really good where you're at right now in your career?
I mean, I feel good where I'm at lately. You always want to make those next steps up and, see what you can do when you get against like the legitimate best guys in the world. But, I'm in no rush either. I've had a lot of fights in the UFC. I expect I'll have a lot more fights in the UFC. It's going to be a long road for me either way if I want to get to that belt. So for me to start calling out, guys with a number or whatever it is, I'm sure they're going to give me probably 3 or 4 more hot new prospects. They might sprinkle in a top 15 guy in there somewhere. They'll probably stylistically all horrible matchups for me. So, I've made peace with that at this point in my career.
Right. I hear you. I know how much, we went back and forth a little bit through social media, and dude, I was super on you with the whole Chimaev fight. And I know how much you wanted that fight. And, of course, hey, shit happens. It's a fight. Didn't go your way, of course. One, do you feel better about, a little redemption, a little bit feeling better about 2 fights in a row, 2 wins in a row? You feeling good? Or is it there's still 3% of you be like, Dave, I'm not going to lie, I want that fucking fight back. Like, I want that one back. Is that something that still sticks at you at all?
I've said it before. I'm not obsessed with it or thinking about it that much,
Sure.
for sure. But I definitely would run that one back. I think he's staying at 70. I don't know that I'm even in a position to, get that rematch at all, just to be fair, because he hasn't lost yet at all in his career, to my knowledge. So, um, I definitely can't call for that rematch right now. But if the opportunity presented itself somewhere down the road and it made sense, I absolutely 100% I would take it. I mean, if they offer it to me tomorrow, I would take it too. But, I try to be realistic as possible. I know that's not going to happen, and it doesn't really make sense for either of us right now in our career. So, but again, if it was offered, absolutely I would take it.
Okay, and that's funny you say that because when Gastelum kind of had that short notice fight, it wasn't crazy short notice, but it was a couple weeks out, and a lot of people, I was taken aback about it. A lot of people were like, Calvin, you're risking a lot, you're putting a lot out there. It's a tough fight, short notice, all that being said. What's your to me, it's there's two sides of it. And I would love your take on it about kind of short notice, but a huge opportunity, a huge nugget at the end of it for one course, the pay and all that, but a big main event. You're on the poster. You can really, get up a lot of spots. You can kind of go over 7 spots really quickly. But of course, yeah, maybe he's not in the best shape. Maybe he didn't have the best camp. Maybe you didn't study enough. What's your kind of, take on taking a short notice fight, but a one with a nugget at the end with a nice number?
I mean, when you're in this business, sometimes you got to take short notice fights. I mean, that's how I got into the UFC.
Right.
You just got to be really disciplined when you don't have a fight scheduled. And that was something where before, the Chimaev fight, that was, I've said it before, it's my own fault. I had tested positive for COVID for a fight before that. I quarantined at home. Kind of hard to train when you're by yourself at home.
Right.
However, there was stuff I could have been doing, woulda, coulda, shoulda, could have been doing, but I wasn't, because I wasn't expecting to fight that soon right after, and I kept, I tested positive for a few weeks. But again, I was very fortunate that I didn't have any major side effects. I could have been doing more, and I should have been doing more. So that's, entirely on my shoulders, no matter what the result is. There's work I could have been doing that I wasn't. And I'm usually pretty consistent about that, that's something, I had to discover about myself. If I don't have access to the gym, when everything's open, easy for me to get out there. I'm a hard worker. I'm in the gym 6 days a week. It's not a problem. I'm, one of the first guys in there, one of the last guys to leave type deal. But when I'm not, I got to, weird circumstance, right, for everybody. But now I know, and I can, make those adjustments where I know if I can't make it to the gym, or if I do, I for some reason have to work out at home, I know I have to be that much more intense. I have to push that much harder. I have to set aside non-negotiable time to do the things I know I should be doing, if in fact I am going to take another opportunity like that in the future.
Right. Makes sense. You mentioned the word gym a couple of times, and you said it after your fight there on ESPN Plus, the whole world heard it. Talk to us about it. So you said you're gonna open up a gym in that area by Rufus, in that area, a grappling gym of sorts.
Yeah, so it'll start off pretty small. I pretty much
That's how
have an
great things
idea.
usually start, is small, and
Yeah,
then it gets bigger and bigger.
right. Yeah, so I still got to talk to my buddy, as I'm be renting space out of his gym, so I won't need my own building, which is going to help out a lot. But the idea is have it probably 3 days a week to start off with. I feel like people, if you start off with too much time, 5 days a week, it's easy for people to pick and choose, like, oh, well, I missed today, so I'll go tomorrow. So I'll just have the
Right.
3 set days where it's like you make the time, when it's coming during the week, you get in there, and then as we build more steam, as I train people up enough that they can take on some more teaching responsibilities, I can separate classes and have beginners and advanced. But to start off with, pretty much going to be my ugly mug teaching, a couple classes 3 days a week.
Love it. I'm excited for that. Is that something going forward in the future? I see, same thing. You got some friends behind the desk now analyzing with ESPN and talking on the mic, commentary, now with maybe, opening up a gym 3 days a week. If I had to say, Gerald, in 7-10 years, what's like a perfect little, oh, Dave, I'm doing this, loving life. I'm teaching. Maybe I'm on the mic. What's something that you would want to kind of get into more full time 12 years from now, when the career is behind you?
Yeah, I mean, I love teaching. I wouldn't be opposed to doing analyst work. Yeah, it's something I am definitely interested in. But, if I have a successful gym, I can put food on the table, I can provide for my family. I love doing it. I'll probably always, be like, now I'm like the head grappling coach for the fight team at Rufus Sport, for like the pros and everything. So I always help those guys. You mentioned Bilal Muhammad. He brought me in when he fought Damian Maia specifically to kind of work on his grappling and, you know, get the game plan in that aspect to win. And I was happy just to be a small piece of his camp for that. But that's, you know, like I said, I've been teaching for a little bit now. I love teaching. I love coaching guys. I love watching them progress as men and with their skill set. So that's something that I think will definitely be in my future.
Definitely love it. I think that suits you very well. You know, you mentioned Rufus there, but then I saw you. I saw with my guy Phil Rowe down in Fusion a month ago, 3 weeks ago, something of that nature. And then, you know, I know you got family down there at Sanford MMA. Seems like everyone's everywhere. And is it kind of just the norm now in 2021 to kind of cross train and go into different gyms and feeling up different people out, learning something, teaching something? Is that just 2021 now? Is that just kind of the norm you think probably going forward?
Yeah, I mean, you know, even the guys that go to some of the bigger gyms, they'll have a home gym that they train at. So you know, Fusion's a little bit different. I know, shout out to JP St. Louis. He lives in Florida now. He's down there. He's a Rufus Sport product. He found a home at Fusion. You know, Phil's down there. Their head coach Julian's a really good guy. He's got a lot of good grappling stuff that I like a lot as well. So, you know, it was one of those things. Phil had a similar style and body type to the guy I was fighting. So I figured, let me go down there. I'll see JP. I can work with Phil. He had a fight coming up, you know, nothing crazy because his fight was so close, but like I can get used to that body type and make sure all the stuff that I'm doing makes sense. And then, you know, Brendan Allen's out at Sanford, and I'm definitely going to be making a trip down there eventually to see him. And that's another one of those places like an ATT where, you know, not everybody necessarily is there full time, but, you know, that's where they all come together to get ready for the big fights. And, you know, it's kind of like the NFL in a way, right? You're going to have, you know, a lot of different teams. You go scrimmage other places, you know, maybe you end up fighting some guys you've worked with before, but that's just the nature of the beast, especially when you get to the higher echelon of competitors.
Absolutely. And you are. It's great. I'm so pumped. 2 in a row. Submissions are crazy. I love it. Just it's one of those things too. And we do a ton of betting here on Fight Bananas and talking through it. And it's just every time we see your name, we circle it and we look up for the submission prop. Every single time it's like, this is what happened. And, you know, Gerald's fighting. We're going to get the W with a submission prop. So we're big fans of you. Kind of fun last question to let you go with Phil Rowe. And we kind of partnered up. He's got the great bump box store down there in Orlando, Florida. What are some songs you kind of listen to? You're just driving, you know, you're going to get a bite to eat. You're with the family, all that nature. And then does it change when it goes into that fight mode? Maybe the day before, the day of, do you kind of change your music kind of difference between fighting and just normal day life?
Yeah. So if I'm training, like if I'm lifting, I'm doing my strength and conditioning, like I'm lifting weights, especially if I got to like bench heavy or squat or deadlift or something, I'll listen to like old school metal. Like I'll put it on Seek and Destroy radio on Pandora or something. If I'm training, I usually have it on either 50 Cent radio or something called Hip Hop Barbecue. And you know, if I'm driving around, I like blues a lot, so I'll have it on like Blues Brothers radio or Delta Blues radio, or you know, some really actually kind of like really old music for somebody my age, but I absolutely love it. But yeah, I definitely have different genres depending on what I'm doing during the day.
Absolutely. Man, Gerald Meerschaert, it's you're getting so you know, big. No one even calls you Meerschaert anymore. It's just GM3. You're getting so big. I see the name there. So GM3, it's like Prince, you know, it's like 50 Cent. Man, Gerald, we're big fans here. Just continue success, and we'll keep on watching, following you, and we'll keep passing the word, man. We appreciate you. Appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Anytime you want to have me on, I'm here.
Thanks, Gerald.